Picks and bans, game 2, let's go. Will Paradigm make it a 2-0 for your happy ELO at home? Or will Hungry for More get you even happy if you bet ELO on them and make it a split here? Hungry for More will once again be first pick, and once again, they will ban Bacchus.
They don't want to deal with that QvoFred. They saw how powerful he could be with it, and Paradigm a little bit annoyed at that. People kind of found out that Bacchus coming out from them early on, and the Apollo once again, going to be banned away from Ataraxia.
Similar run back so far. Will we see any mix-up from Hungry for More? Will they look to ban away maybe the Cabrakan? No, it'll be Sol. So it's back to Paradigm again. They left Khepri up last time, and that allowed, I believe, Hungry for More picked up Naja first pick. And that didn't really have that much of an impact.
No,
you said
not at
that.
all.
I agree.
I think there was a couple instances, too, where the timing was just, and it's actually really hard to time the Vulcan and the Naja ultimate combos, and Paradigm were actually able to sanctuary out most of the early ones. So, I mean, getting that timing perfect, not that easy. And Hungry for More, I think they're like, okay, we give up. We're just going to go with the best Guardian in the game.
Take the Khepri, give it over there. But the thing is, Paradigm known for their support aggressiveness. So he could bring out the backers himself this time round or look for something else to deal with the Khepri. Odin is on the table, even though we've not seen too much of it so far since the changes coming through.
Paradigm could elect to go into the Naja as well. I'm sure Hungry for More would be happy with grabbing that.
I'm pretty sure Paradigm would be happy with grabbing the Chronos.
The Chronos makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the second pick, right? Everyone knows Paradigm is picking Chronos here. And it is going to be the Naja, so making sure Hungry for More can't get the combo that they're looking for. I would have to imagine they would instant lock Naja Vulcan there.
Yeah, Naja Vulcan as well. Then you got Khepri to protect the Naja if he goes overly aggressive and gets caught out of position. Hungry for More, back to them this time round. They should expect some interesting things from Paradigm once more. It's going to be Fenrir for the jungle with
So
them.
kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing as Naja. A little bit more guaranteed if the player doesn't have Purification, where you can just kind of stand still and guarantee that the Vulcan ult hits.
That's true. The only problem with that, though, is that you generally want to run back with that thing in your mouth back to your team when you use Ragnarok. You want to run back to him, but that reduces the damage Vulcan ult does.
It's true. Tier going to be locked in by Variety. So Hungry for More don't want that banned away this time.
I'd say Variety had the biggest impact in that game against Paradigm on that Bellona, and I think getting them a priority pick before they ban that one away again this time around is probably a good idea. Now, they have the counterban phase here to potentially look at banning a couple of things that they don't want Xaliea playing against this.
I love this. I would have to imagine that Hungry for More would expect the Vulcan to be banned and then go straight into the Scylla, but Paradigm just immediately take it away, no hesitation.
They will also ban Raijin, so they're okay with the Vulcan this game.
And we actually saw PrettyPriMe play a lot of Raijin early on in the season, and I think that's just something they're worried about a little bit more.
We'll take into account as well, you get some Naja as that Vulcan too, your turret is actually a detriment to you because ring bounce will bounce off the turret and you over and over again.
That's annoying. It's
so it
really
can
annoying.
Really be punished for you by picking that. So maybe they're quite happy for that Vulcan to be picked for one of those reasons. Paradigm, with the next pick, looking for a Hunter. Will we see the Jubilanke again? Hou-Yi is available.
They have Naja, so a little bit less peel. So they're going to go with Hou-Yi, who can create a lot of space in team fights. Just you drop the Suns. It's very hard to fight in the middle of that. Same with Zeus ult, right? It's just like you don't really want to fight in these two abilities, and that it just creates kind of this zone, right? It's kind of the same as Jablanque ult.
Intoxicate and the Suns raining down together. Just painful situation if it happens. Skadi is here once more. This time we're going to see if I'm hungry for more. What's wrong? What's wrong? What was that?
I like Skadi.
Yeah?
Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I think Panthera played it very well. And I think if there's any support you want paired with it, it's a Khepri. And any jungler is either a Thor or a Fenrir. But the problem here is that this is not Panthera. And we saw how sloppy Hungry for More were engaging together and protecting their team. How are you going to protect a Zeus and a Skadi if you're Hungry for More?
Differently, though, they've got a Khepri this time round. The Khepri is going to be on defense duty, not engage duty. That's going to be up to Twig and up to Variety for the engage. We'll see Zindurn sit on the back, and he can be the same sort of peel. He'll sit there, root for them, abduct them away from the targets, and allow these two high damage dealers, to be fair, in Skadi and Zeus, to be able to be, protected with that back line. I think that's the key, is the Khepri.
Sobek locked in as well. For Trixtank, have to expect...
That's not for Trixtank.
Oh, no, that's Xaliea. Excuse me. Yeah, Bacchus was already locked in. Okay. So, Tier versus Sobek. We haven't seen Sobek in a long time in the solo lane. I think it's been played once this season. And I think it was Xaliea as well who played it, if I can recall correctly.
I think it was Variety, actually.
Okay.
I think it was Variety.
It was EU.
I'm thinking, but yeah. Sobek, back to the solo lane once again, and he's gone Hog. He's gone Wrath.
Ooh. Yeah, Paradigm just do whatever they want. They're always having fun.
Gone Wrath.
So this was Who also picked this up? It was Divios, who actually played with Wrath. And the whole idea is so that you can guarantee the quick farm of your boars. And this is very helpful, especially for Guardians, because the reasons we haven't seen Guardians in Soul Lane too much, even though we saw Sobek all the time in Season 2, especially the fall split, is because that now there's more farm in the Soul Lane, and Guardians take a little bit longer to get online. It's not worth the risk, right? You can't have a Guardian who's just 2 to 3 levels behind the opponent's warrior who's stolen away all the jungle and gotten this massive lead. It's just too risky to kind of wait until late game. So this Wrath, not only is it going to allow Xaliea to keep up in farm with variety, but also you do have the objective secure.
You do, especially with lurking in the waters, which can't really be stopped to you getting in there, especially from this team here. What they're going to do, realistically, if you go in there and lurk in the waters, there's no sort of wall to keep you out.
And there's no guaranteed gold kill coming out for Hungry for More, right? Zeus ult is very dot-based, and it's the detonate, right? They got to rely on the detonate.
Poor Xaliea there, missed his buff. He would have been laying a little bit quicker than he is now. He would have made a huge difference, but, you know, he lost a little bit of pressure there, as Variety will now beat him to lane, even though he had Wrath. That's surprising.
And I expect this to be a farm fest for the most part. It's mostly going to be on Variety if he can maybe steal away some camps.
It's in favor of Variety early as that tier, obviously,
sure.
because Sobek's wave clear very, very weak early on. But tuning into the duo lane here, you can see pressure once again coming out from Trixtank and Funballer in this matchup. And they're looking for Ataraxia every time, right?
And this is the exact opposite of what you saw from Panthera. It was actually, they ran the Bacchus Skadi, and they had full lane control from the start. They actually, what I really love that Panthera did when running Skadi was they actually had IRAFer run meditation, and he didn't use it to like save a teammate. He just on cooldown, anytime Skadi was a little bit poked out, pushed her to full. Just used it every single time.
Those Harpies are still available at the back here and still being contested by Hungry for More at the moment. Can I just see Ward's place for a second? Because there's something to do with Ataraxia. He's got 2 health potions. I'm pretty sure he's used 1 health potion and a mana potion. I guess he started 3 health, 1 mana this game? With that throwing dagger?
You get 4 potions, so I'm assuming 3 health, 1 mana.
I saw a mana ticking away. I'm not sure if I saw a health ticking away on his health bar. That's why I'm like, interesting. Because otherwise he's gone for 3 on 1, and so he's going to be very, very careful with his mana relying on that golden bow. Obviously, very, very focused on in-handing his Skadi.
So this is funny, right? Because with Permafrost, you kind of have to be a little bit worried, like you are with a Sobek, when you're pressuring the opponent's tower against a Skadi. Because if you step forward and Permafrost comes down, you'll actually skid into the tower and take some shots. And if you combine that with Zindurn, if you can find an abduct off of that, like, you are dead.
Well, Invasion came out from Hungry for More, now one from Paradigm. They're going to take back Harpies and looking towards the balls as you see the rotation coming out from QvoFred to the left-hand side too, just to confirm this pressure even more on this. And this is realistically, to be fair, there's kill potential for Trixtank here, but there is kill potential as well with that Khepri and Skadi if they get off to a good start.
It's possible. Right-hand side, you can see just both players doing exactly what they need to, right? Variety's like, all right, I'm against a Guardian, let me steal his boars. Xaliea like, all right, I'm against a Warrior, let's go Wrath and secure my boars when he tries to steal it.
And use the lurk in the waters here just to clear the wave more than not. If you can find a nice charge prey, he'll pull him into the tower.
He was looking for it.
Poke, but yeah, he's just have to farm more than anything else. Keep the mana sustain going for himself as well, especially with the blue buff not being available just yet.
Level 5 for both of these players. Xaliea just trying to survive in lane. Has a slight gold loss, so Variety been getting the better of him when it comes to last hits, and you could see Xaliea just looking to position himself so he can pluck.
Oh, Prime in mid lane though, getting collapsed on here, but luckily Twig's here too. This is a turnaround. It's actually Twig that's in trouble, but he will actually pick up the kill with the Intoxicate, but traded out with Prime.
So First Blood going the way of Paradigm, but it was on a Bacchus, and to be fair, PrettyPriMe was able to return the kill. This is what's worrying for this composition, is it's one thing if you have to protect a Zeus. It's one thing if you have to protect a Skadi. But once these team fights break out, how are you going to protect both? It's so hard. And actually, did CaptainTwig run him into Zeus? I think he was trying to keep him in the Zeus ult for extra damage.
I think he was just trying to pick him up and take him away from the potentially the Intoxicate as well. And I remember to take into account, he's probably the easiest target to go because he's not going to have Purification at the beginning of this game, as most supports will not. And other news as well, though, Bacchus against the Zeus. Bacchus is very, very good against Zeus for being able to engage him, knock him up so he can't get off his detonate, then stun him so he can't throw out too many in-hands. Then you got the Intoxicate too, which makes landing those in-hands hard too.
This combo is really good against Khepri specifically, right? We talked about it last game as well, right?
Yeah.
Naja and Bacchus. You have one target take Zeus, or not take Zeus, take Khepri out of the picture. And once Khepri's out of the picture, it is so much easier to isolate these immobile mages like Zeus. And you just have the other go on the target and then burst him 100-0.
It's true, and then the other factor of that, you've also got Xaliea that can just fling him away from being able to get that ultimate off potentially as well, which is a nice little factor for him as well. Blue buff is still available there, as you saw Prime clearing up a little bit of the camp as well, and you can see Twig doing the right-hand imps of this moment. Where do we want to see Twig go this game? Because we saw him mid lane then on the pressure that came out from Paradigm on that first blood. But do we want to see him like swinging to the right-hand side looking for the Sobek at all here?
It's really hard.
You can catch the Sobek before you can ult.
It's possible. It's still going to be really hard. It's always hard to gank soul laners, and you always run the risk of losing the Gold Fury. Now, they do have, Hungry for More do have Zeus to try and contest, but on the other end, Paradigm, they have Intoxicate, they have the Suns, they have a lot to secure it.
Twig in this jungle, currently 0-0-1. Engaging that mid lane really did help out on... Obviously, PrettyPriMe was going to fall down anyway there for sure by the looks of it, but luckily he turned up in time to make it at least an even trade, not necessarily in terms of first blood gold versus second blood gold. But where do we want to... I mean, he's had a bit of a stronger game so far already. As a sash comes out from Quvo, though, Lawbringer immediately from Variety.
That was DR.
Ult for ult.
That was pure DR. The fling comes in from Xaliea, so he gets that. That counts as a stun, not just a knock up. Then the sash comes out from QvoFred, and CaptainTwig has actually returned this.
Gonna get a little bit of brutalized damage off onto Xaliea, but not hang on too much. Ring toss will connect for a little bit there, but it's not going to be too much more. As Skadi has started to push out this lane against Hou-Yi, which I'm not surprised by that.
And jumps forward, Trixtank. Not sure if he knew Zindurn was there. Zindurn, though, has to back off, and actually here's QvoFred.
Ring toss connects multiple times. Damage from Lawbster just a little bit off the mark, I want to say there, for confirming that.
Really smart presence of mind on Zindurn to recognize that Paradigm can't finish him off. Doesn't panic ult. Panic ult goes through, then that's, kind of 90 seconds where Zeus has to be very wary of getting ganked once again. CaptainTwig secures his own back RPs, but gets met with a time rift in his own jungle.
Yeah, it seems like Paradigm are looking for the blue buff, which isn't available right now. You should know it's about the same sort of timing as their own one on the right-hand side, so seeing them swing around that deep, it's kind of normal to see Trixtank do that. But I'd love to check in with the duo lane now and just see how this is going on, because Warrior Tabby already online for Ataraxia, and he's actually in a pretty good spot at the moment. I've not really seen him use Cold In, seen what he's maxing there. It's been Piercing Cold and Winter's Grass, and Permafrost, but look at this mid.
Lawbster, he's dead. No way to get away. It's going to be PrettyPriMe, finishes him off. Trixtank returns the kill, though. Intoxicate locks him down, and Zindurn, misplay, ults himself.
Lawbringer comes out, though, from Variety, looking for a pick here in the mid lane. Is he going to be able to find the first Zindurn, who actually goes in? Quvo keeps him under the tower with the ultimate. Prime going to return some damage with the Chain Lightning. Looking for the pick of Variety. The tower will get it, as well as the Belcher Tricks. And then Quvo goes in again, looking for a potential ring toss if it's available to try and bounce it back to Prime, but going to have to give up there. Once again, Paradigm turned that back on his head.
That was a really surprising dive from Zindurn, right? Obviously, the later you go, it's going to be fine, but right now, he's actually gone into the magical protection item instead of physical against Xaliea, which means those towers, they are hurting him. A lot of times, you'll see a breastplate in this position, and if he has full breastplate, the dive looks a lot better, especially considering he's up against the Naja as well, but takes full damage and just kind of messes up there.
But blue buff actually goes the way of Paradigm on that right-hand side there. Xaliea rotated around with Quvo after that pressure they created to steal that one away from Variety. So punished again he was, as we now see Twig looking towards Funballer on this left-hand side. Funballer seems to have an idea something's going on, as he got some good poke off on Ataraxia there.
I think that was just pings coming through, but CaptainTwig's here. QvoFred actually coming from the top side of the jungle. Oh, very aggressive coming out. Ataraxia trying to juke around. There's Kaldir as well. And Ataraxia finds the turnaround, staying out of the Suns.
Ataraxia found the turnaround thanks to the help of Twig. It was all a bait, all in all, and Funballer, well, he took it. He took it like hook.
He kind of backed off too. We saw it, right? It's like,
yeah. But after his leap was done, he's like, well, how do I get out of this? He purified to get away from the root, from the Winter's Grasp, but then being beaten down by Fenrir in the back of your head too. There's no way of escaping that one. Very, very unlucky to actually trade that one out in the end, but worked out well for Hungry for More.
Something to note too on to Ataraxia that we didn't mention before is that he's actually leveling up Permafrost.
Yeah.
Instead of Rune of the Hunt.
And Permafrost actually gets bigger in size as it goes on as well, which is one of the things that makes an impact for that ability. So it doesn't increase by massive amounts, I want to say, but it does increase. The radius goes up to 24 from 16 originally. So the area becomes bigger, the per tick damage goes up. Slow stays the same, obviously, and the damage percent on that as well goes up.
I mean, it almost doubles in size, right? Obviously, 32 is going to be double, math.
Well done.
I'm good.
Well done.
It's funny when, Sometimes we try to do math and we're just way off.
I love what Funballer does, though.
I
He's
like
"Alright."
these low numbers.
Funballer's like, all right, fine, I died. But you know what? Hunter's Mark, I'm going again. Ricochet, not a double tap this time. Winter's Cross comes out again. But this time it's Trixtank here. But the damage is good from Khaldea. Be drunk, you dirty wolf. But he's still trying to give chase, but he's against the wall. Khaldea, that's the best animation I've seen.
I did
not know that.
I didn't
That
know.
was amazing.
I didn't know he could get hit by Intoxicated. It like really affected
you
his
see
movement.
that?
Yeah, he was so lost. He ran into the wall.
Please tell me we got a live replay of
The
that one.
poor dog
Just
ran
give me,
into the
give me a
wall.
replay of Khaldea. Like, oh, man. Man, that was rough. 3-4 is the scoreline. What a crazy little fight there. So once again, Battle of the Hunters, supports get involved. Well, actually,
I wonder if they knew
jungle support
that.
get
I
involved.
wonder if Trix knew that.
Well, he wasn't picked beforehand, but, you know.
I mean, maybe in
All he could do
scrims.
is burst and hope to keep his team alive. That's generally what you do as back. He's like, oh no, what do I do? Flop, burp, oh.
The
Hope it
reverse
works out.
turnaround, though, this time Trixtank comes and assists Funballer in the 1v1, making a 1v2, and Ataraxia is going to fall. Both players at the same build though right now have they went Purification,
Oh.
golden throwing dagger. They got boots. They have Ickvile.
One of them has got a drunk dog.
One of them's got a drunk dog. Come on, you can't do that, PETA, please.
Peter, please.
Let me get a Bible thump in chat for the poor dog, the
No.
poor drunk dog.
No, don't do that.
Come on, man.
It's a scummy dog.
What? You just say it's a scummy dog?
It is.
F. Dot hates you. Like, he actually just hates you now. He loves dogs.
Me too. That's not a dog, though. It's a wolf.
Fair
Mid lane, bit of a contest over those left-hand harpies now, though. Look at this. As you can see, Twig does get a good start off on Cuvo, which returns some damage, but he heals it back up once again. Has to Ragnarok away
Xaliea.
defensively. Solo lanes are here, and Variety Law brings over the wall, looking for a Fearless, but immediately Trix sends it around with a flop of his own. Great ring toss, though, and now Xaliea still hunting.
He's trying to find someone here. It's Ataraxia, isolated, nowhere to go. Permafrost not even available. There's the Khepri ult, though.
There you go.
Zindurn gonna nicely save his Skadi there, and that is why you pick
But
Khepri
now-
right there.
With that ult being down, look at this. Paradigm going to go for the goal through. They know CaptainTwig does not have his ult, and he's at half health. Twig well aware of it. The rest of the team are hungry for more, coming in from the right-hand side here. There's Zindurn leading the charge here, but they're looking at CaptainTwig, and he's already the first one dead. As a Fearless hits from Variety to Lawbster. He's going to rewind all the way back to safety again, and now Prime has to run for his life as the rest of his front line is being crushed.
Nowhere to go. Zindurn's going to fall. It's going to be QvoFred. Variety flung back in. Lawbringer was used on the mid camps. That's a double kill coming out from QvoFred as Funballer, or excuse me, yeah, one more zones. Actually,
Ooh.
Ataraxia finds the turnaround kill with Winter's
He
Grasp.
didn't find the turnaround kill. The Wolf found the turnaround kill.
Hey, the Wolf can
You're playing a
chase
6v5 this game. That's what this is.
when he's not drunk, at least.
When he's not drunk, yeah.
Ataraxia here doesn't look like he's going to be able to contest the Gold Fury.
You might send Khaldea in, though, looking for the steal. I tell you what, if I ever see a Khaldea steal a Gold Fury, I'm done.
I'd be mad. I would be so mad.
It's got good damage, though.
He does.
It does have the damage. Are we going to see the buff drop for Lawbster once again? Paradigm, come on and tell us to go to the graphs, and you'll see it's a 3,500 gold lead, 5,000 experience lead. The funny story is, this is the story of Paradigm so far this season, right? Game 1 is either close or they lose, and Game 2 they seem to pick up pace.
Except
Every
against
game.
Panthera, where I think they got stomped.
They just
in
seem
the
to
second game.
warm up, though, in the
Yeah.
second game. Every single time they just warm up to that second game and like, okay, right, we found what we did wrong in the first game, let's correct it, and then
I
turn
think
it
it's understanding how the other team plays too, because everyone has a when it comes to high level teams, right? Everyone has a job. But
Yeah.
when you go into the game, it's like, all right, this is your job. You need to invade. You need to gank here at this minute mark. You need to do this, or our goal is for a 3v3 to set up a kill. Then it's like transition to late game. Okay, Xaliea, you peel. Xaliea, you look for the backline. Funballer, you do what you focus. Everyone has a job, and I think once Paradigm realize what Hungry for More's job is, like who's focusing them, they can position themselves a little bit better.
I'll tell you what, at 5, 1, and 2, Trixtank's job is assassination. Of not just gods,
He has 5 kills.
but wolves too. Variety in a bit of an awkward spot over here, going to get aggressed on once more, but with Zindurn around, it's going to be a little bit difficult to bring him down as is, but instead they're going to turn to Zindurn, who's going to get sashed. A very good sash, his ring toss, however, a little bit off the mark, so no follow-up onto him for now.
QvoFred also holding his ultimate there. They might have been able to burst this Khepri. only has magical protection, right? He went to the Traveler Shoes, but actually going Heart Ward first item. So that kind of combination from QvoFred going to do a lot of damage. However, he is up against a lot of magical.
Variety going to miss the Fearless. Lurking in the waters goes out. Flop misses from Trixtank. Lurking in the waters, giving chase to Zindurn. Variety's looking at Qvo. In mid lane, however, Prime under pressure again as a rewind comes out of Lawbster, perfectly placed. But Ataraxia picks up Funballer on the rotation with the Winter's Grasp activated. But now Ataraxia is in trouble. Caldea's trying to do what he can, but he's walking into a wall. Drunk, look at him slosh around as Ataraxia is trying to stay alive as well. The ultimate from Zindurn is good, and the peel is great from Zindurn, but he's going to pay the price himself, I think, here, unless Variety gets here with a teleport.
It was actually cancelled out. QvoFred on the permafrost, has the dog chasing after him. He can't finish him off. CaptainTwig finds the last hit. It's the other dog to get the kill.
And now Twig back with Variety, turning this fight back on his head in favor of Hungry for More. Trixtank under pressure, has to flop away. Lawbringer comes out, does connect just for the slow. As Twig in mid lane is beating down Lawbster, he's going to fall instead. Zindurn could only really watch there. Now Zindurn stuck, but Prime is here. The damage comes out, but is he going to get the chain lightning? Variety with a blink, Fearless hits both of them.
One more hit. Lawbster actually gets the time rift off in time. Xaliea switches over to the tower trying to stay alive. Lawbster does have the space. Variety can't close the gap. And it's going to be a fight that, honestly, I think Hungry for More take overall. I believe it was a 4-for-1.
That's fine. And they can look for the tower in mid lane as well now. Only really here is Xaliea to try and defend, but he's getting chipped away. He has a lot of damage during his protections as well. The detonate will go off and they pick up the kill.
Tier 1 tower being sieged. Funballer has respawned. And Hungry for More, they're going to give it up. They're going to play it safe for now. They've reduced the gold lead to only about 2,000.
Permafrost comes out just to help out Variety a little bit and create a little bit of distance for him. 8-8 in terms of kills. Gold lead still in favor, though, of Paradigm, but that lead was chipped away at because of that engagement.
Really nice job from Hungry for More to turn it around. And that's honestly the second game in a row where we've seen fights happen, and then they just kind of keep going long enough for the players who died at the start of it to respawn. And both times it's been in Hungry for More's jungles, which has benefited them because they're closer to the action. It takes them less time to go from that fountain back into the game. We saw, I believe it was both PrettyPriMe and Variety escape back. I think they didn't really die, and then walk back in and make impactful kills at the end.
I'm talking about impactful kills. Is it bad that Trixtank has all the kills for the team here? I mean, he's got the majority.
I think it was fine early, but at this point, right, it needs to be shared a little bit more. Paradigm, their carries kind of need to come online because they're not that far ahead of their counterparts.
Well, I mean, look at Funballer. He's been involved in 4 of those kills, and he's not got anything compared to what we see of Ataraxia here as we look. The ult comes out from Qvo. The dive is very good for Variety here. Will he fall down in time? He will. You know, Lawbster will pick it up. The rotation was late from Hungry for More. There's nothing for them to punish them with for.
CaptainTwig going to be doing this for Trixtank. Looks like he wants to jump in, but elects not to. And now Hungry for More, they're going to be sieging up this right tier 1.
They need to be careful here, Hungry for More. Overextending against this is just a bad idea. Zindurn just abducted, and now Twig just went in too. They've got Zeus with them, but it's a 4v5 fight, and it could go either way.
And now Trixtank, I mean, he takes the brunt of the Zeus damage. She's going to use Meditation, stay alive, and then just back off. Paradigm, playing it safe, don't want to dive too deep. And left-hand side, it's actually the Hunters continuing to go at it. Ataraxia trying to control the jungle. It's so hard to fight against a Skadi 1v1 without anyone to support you.
And the big key with Ataraxia is, and the Skadi is just lane clear. Is a little bit more dominant. You've got the push power as well as you can invade the jungle. That's exactly what he's done. He's not looking to box realistically against Funballer. He's looking to strip him away of experience wherever possible.
He's also gone Chins, whereas Funballer has gone into the Aussie, so... Now, Funballer is going to be able to heal up more, but right now, Ataraxia is just doing more damage. So any fights he takes, he's probably just going to be pretty back. He's going to allow the Wolf to take most of the poke for him.
Why have Asi, right, when you can have a Khepri, right?
That's true.
Gives you more health.
And Ataraxia was experimenting with no lifesteal, I think, at the beginning of the season, although for the most part, we've seen him go into lifesteal at least some point in his build, but he's definitely one who's all about... I just need damage like him. It's on me to, position myself properly.
So, start the game, Paradigm got off to a bit of a tear to begin with, in a good position for themselves. However, Hungry for More, after that last couple of team fights, have clawed their way back in.
They can fight back, and a lot of it has come down to Ataraxia being able to isolate a couple members, most notably Funballer.
Well, he caught Funballer on that whole rotation, and that just eliminated the Hunter from the fight completely before. We didn't get to see exactly what Ataraxia did there, but it helped him out so much when it came to the rest of the fight, because originally Paradigm were winning that engagement, but then the teleportations in from Hungry for More ended up working out.
And now, Gold Theory has spawned again. Paradigm, they're looking at it. Actually, no, it looks like they want to set up for a kill here. Trixtank going to throw down a counter ward. No, he actually doesn't have one in his inventory. So that control on the left side Harpy is going to be in favor of Hungry for More. And that's to their benefit, right? This game, Paradigm's actually been in Hungry for More's side of the map most of the time. We haven't seen Hungry for More really force an engagement. They've kind of just counter-engaged. So as long as they can control that spot specifically, and as I say that, the ward ends, it's good for them.
Is good for them for now. Left RPs do go down. Right Imp's going to go in the way of Xaliea as well on that side after the tier 1 tower goes down. Zindurn returning to base here, looking to probably complete that sovereignty there for the double aura effect for his team. Pretty much a Season 2 build coming out there, but it's starting to come back into favor a little bit.
Sovereignty's so good, man. It gives 30 aura now. I love that.
30 physical protection aura.
Yes.
Not just 30 aura.
30 aura, you know.
30.
30 power aura, 30 attack speed aura.
Imagine if you just said 30 aura and it was everything. That'd be so good.
That'd be... Oh, yo. That item doesn't stack luxury. 4K. Let's do it. Scott's here.
Doesn't stack luxury.
Yeah, 4K luxury item. Doesn't stack. 30 everything.
30 everything.
30 everything. Power, protections, other stuff like
Other
attack
stuff.
speed.
XP
Attack
generation.
speed reduction.
XP generation.
XP generation. If you're spending 4K on an item...
For 30... I buy that at the start of the game.
You just don't buy anything. You leave the base with nothing. You just try and survive off gold spooling.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'll get boots and just hold.
Gold Fury, though, surrounded
It's
right
an
now
awkward spot right now. That's
Paradigm.
the issue. Because Paradigm, they technically hold the advantage of this game. The way the game's gone so far, you can see the gold slightly still in their favor. Experience 2. But the way Hungry for More just played that last fight is kind of slowed down Paradigm's pace of this game a little bit.
A lot of it, too, is Paradigm's discipline, where they'll force a fight, they'll get a win. And you see this more from North American teams, where they'll just take a win and then back off. Paradigm, they try and look for more, which is kind of like, sometimes it works really well, and they could snowball a game just simply off a single fight or two. But if it doesn't work in their favor, they allow the other team to kind of either match that lead they gained, or honestly turn it on them. Gold Fury, though, uncontested.
Really surprised by that. I don't think Hungry for More were really aware of it more than anything else. I don't think they thought they were doing it. Even though they were all missing on the map, the lanes were pushed up. Xaliea showed on the right-hand side, so I guess they thought, you know, it must be relatively safe.
It's the bait. It's always the best thing you can do is you show presence on 2 different lanes in the map, and you have a 3-member core who can do the Gold Fury. But aggression coming out from Trixtank. Gonna find the knock up to Zindurn.
And Lawbster gonna put some poke in there, but Variety's rotation, as well as Twig and Zeus being in mid lane as well for Hungry for More. Says Lawbster not going to continue that for the time being. Lawbster, though, still maybe looking for something. We've got an ult, actually, onto Skadi. Ataraxia in trouble.
By himself.
Not completely.
Sanctuary in place, and there's the Khepri ult as well. Left-hand side, CaptainTwig going to try and isolate Funballer, but he has to run away. Shell is used, and now it's Zindurn who's isolated. And now Zeus ult just to stop Paradigm from continuing the dive. 2 quick
this fight
kills.
Is a 4v5. Take into account, Xaliea wasn't even involved in that. He's just come to the fight now. He's going to meet Variety in the mid lane there. Xaliea wasn't involved in that, and Paradigm won that 4v5.
I mean, they just didn't care. It was just a quick pick onto Skadi, and even, or excuse me, it was a quick attempted pick onto Skadi. And even though they forced everything, then they just immediately turned on a Zindurn, knew his ult was down, nothing he can do about it.
Ring toss goes out, his Twig isolated, has to jump away, gonna get flopped on. Trixtank gets the kill. Lawbster, though, is beating the hell out of Prime and rewinds nicely for Xaliea to pick up the kill. Nice Variety against 5 members of Paradigm. What can he do to get away? Well, he's doing his best, but he's gonna get flipped back into the danger zone. He's bringing away again, but guess who's there? It's Trixtank and Funballer for the kill. As a tier 1 tower falls, the tier 2 will as well. Since the Gold Fury, Paradigm just went, alright, go time.
I mean, Variety there was zoning, but he was zoning a single member on a tower. He didn't use a single ability until he was on the retreat there. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is getting isolated in the backline. Skadi was dead. There's no Khepri. How is a Zeus staying alive? He's not. This composition drafted by Hungry for More, I just don't think they're at the level to execute it.
I think they executed well during the early stages, and you saw it in that team fight, but Paradigm realized that. So they go in on Ataraxia. As soon as Zindurn's ult is used, they switch attention to Zindurn and then win the fight off that.
But that's the thing. With this composition, with the Skadi and a Zeus and a Khepri, right, it doesn't matter how well you execute it in the 2v2s and the 3v3s. All that matters is the 5v5s. You have 2 hyper carries that need protection and can't peel by themselves, and you have a single god who it's all on him to do it, and he just can't. And then he did it once onto Skadi, but then he's dead himself.
Would you be okay with this comp if it wasn't a Zeus, it was a Chronos?
Probably.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'm just giving the example because that's what Paradigm ran last game. You know, they had Jubalonke and Chronos, which are 2 hyper carries in a
But
Khepri.
they have escapes, right? It's different. When you have an escape or a movement ability, it's a completely different story where you have at least some self-peel, right? That's why Adanas is as well, right? It's like they actually peel for their team a lot because they can self-peel. You don't really need to protect the Adanas.
Well, the story right now is the Fire Giant for Paradigm, and whether Hungry for More can look to defend this one, they need a good fight like they had a little bit earlier on in this game. But with that Phoenix down on the left-hand side, it makes it a bit more awkward. They do have variety with Teleport, though, that can swing back there to defend it. Positioning is going to be key, because Trixtank is having a great game right now. 12 kills involved with 6, 2, and 6. Really good play.
I think this was what he was at last game as well. Just all around the map. I mean, if a fight's happening, Trixtank is a part of it. And once again, PrettyPriMe isolated. It's going to be the ult on top of him, but he has nowhere to go. Trixtank is there, still stunned in the Suns. One more hit. Sanctuary going to keep him alive for now, but it doesn't matter. Funballer finds the last hit, and then he finds a beautiful stun on Variety as well. He can't even get Lawbringer off. Double kill coming out for Funballer, and Paradigm starting to walk away with this one.
I don't even think they need the Fire Giant here. They're going to take a tier 2 tower in mid lane. They could look for the Phoenix, but no, they will head that direction once more. Funballer getting a great ricochet off of that double kill in the end. And to be fair, that was him setting up with Lawbster, who found that pick on Prime in the mid lane, where Prime just looked a little bit out of position.
It's not been good for Hungry for More right now. Down 16 to 18 kills. It's going to be a Fire Giant as well, unless somehow Zindurn can pull off a miracle, and that's what's needed right now. Zindurn actually walks right by Trixtank, but it doesn't matter.
Well, now he's
He'll be
dead
caught
for that
alone
as well, sadly. He got the funny thing is that if Trixtank would have seen him, Zindurn would have survived then, because Zindurn would have been like, all right, cool, yeah, just back away. You've got Fire Giant already. But because he didn't, he walks all the way like, hey guys, how's it? Oh, no.
Oh, man. Paradigm now. Up 14,000. They're going to take
they needed
the final
wins,
tower
Paradigm.
on the map.
Let's be honest, Paradigm
to
really
split
needs
themselves
these wins.
from the rest of the kind of the rest of the Europe, like the standings right now, right? Because especially with how well Cringe Crew is playing, they're not in a guaranteed spot.
Lawbringer from Variety, but going to get stunned, then sashed, then picked up into the sky and deleted off the map. Ragnarok is used, though, going to pick up Lawbster, but he's going to rewind back to safety as Twig falls down to the lurking in the waters. QvoFred ends up getting a double kill as he picks up Ataraxia, and Prime's like, well, guys, I've got it in hands. I'm sorry, boys. We put up a good fight today on Hungry for More. Much better performance from them, but it's not good enough to beat Paradigm just yet.
He's going to get revived into the fountain. 2-0 coming out for Paradigm. Though, really beautifully played both games. Maybe not so much game one.
Game
2,
one,
though.
there's a couple of mistakes for them, game 2. And then I think they're a little bit worried about, okay, this...
Are they farming kills?
No. I actually think this is them going, guys, remember Cringe Crew? Remember what we did against Cringe Crew? All right, wait for the minions. Wait for the minions. We can't do that. It's a Zeus. It's a Zeus. Let's not do that again. They do finally bring down the Titan at the end of the game. Paradigm finally credited with the 2-0. In a performance that game 2 looked a little bit better.
That looked like Paradigm.
Hungry for More for me impressed me more than Paradigm did today.
Yeah, I feel like CaptainTwig still having some inconsistent games. He's had some really good performances, but this set he really didn't show up, especially in game 1. And I think if he does, maybe it's a little bit closer as well. And then Zindurn. I don't know what the comms are like. Obviously, we're not in the comms. Maybe Zindurn is supposed to be the shot caller. He sees an opportunity, he jumps in, but the rest of his team is not in position. And whether it's on them to be in position or Zindurn to be more aware of kind of where everyone is at, they have the pieces of the puzzle. They just haven't put the puzzle together yet.
I'm sure they'll look back on that. But first of all, let's go back into that game and look at a little bit of Trixtank's plays during that game. On that Bacchus, he had a very big impact on this game with most of the kills for his team. And this was the beginning of the game, really.
This was first blood.
No, it wasn't. This was a little bit later on.
Okay.
As he gets the Intoxicate off and just uses the in-hand. One thing people underestimate is the power that he gets for his in-hands after the Intoxicate.
It's like minor, but especially early game, and it really matters. And this is just the turnaround. He immediately isolates Zeus, so Zeus can't get his damage off, and then he finishes off Variety. He actually tries to stun him under tower, but it doesn't matter. Still enough damage from the Belch to get the last hit.
Very, very well.
This
is the save of the drunk dog. Go home, you drunk Caldeir. Poor guy. You don't get to see the dog run into the wall here, sadly, but we will see the beatdown that happened, and the dog's dead against the wall there.
Oh, poor Caldeir.
Everyone's going to be picking Bacchus now every time they see a Skadi, just because they're like, okay.
That's actually really good. I didn't know about that interaction.
It's smart, actually. Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
That's so intelligent. CaptainTwig here, he's going to fall, and then immediately the attention turns to... And look at this. Like, the whole time, Variety's trying to zone, but the problem is his team's getting dove in the back line because I think that was right after Zindurn had gotten picked. So.
Talking about going to the back line, QvoFred was doing that all game long on the Najjar. Better Najjar game than we saw from CaptainTwig's point of view, but he found the targets that he needed to multiple times.
And picks on his Zindurn, switches his target. And once again, I mean, QvoFred, right? He never kind of gets the name recognition that some of these other players does, but
he should do
he
that.
just always does his job, right? He's kind of what Verizial wants to become over on Enemy, is just this everyman who can do a variety of different things, whether it's set up kills early, whether it's gank lanes, whether it's be a hyper carry on we've seen him on Freya Nemesis, not
whether
so much this season, but last season.
Peel, like he did with the
Peel as
Thor
well.
in the first game as well, which was a big impact. All right, let's go to the standings and see how this shakes things up, because Hungry for More did go down 0-2 there. They're still above Fnatic, however, but Paradigm clearly get 8-4. Cringe Crew, 1 game off them.
You know, we talked about how competitive Europe is, but I think we're finally really starting to see this distinction. Top 4 right now, Dignitas, Cringe Crew, Paradigm, Panthera, everyone else there trying to find their way in.
We'll talk about Dignitas a little bit more. They've got a big hurdle today up against Panthera. Panthera only lost to Cringe Crew so far this split. Will Dignitas manage to do it themselves?
I think they have a potential. Here's the thing, though, right? I always talk about consistency. That's one of the most important things in pro-level play in any game, in anything you do, right? It's like adapting, right? I think everyone can play at an adapting level, right? But how often are you doing it? Are you doing it 1 out of every 20 games, 1 out of every 10? Or are you playing at adapting level, like adapting 10 out of every 10? And I think if Dignitas can individually all play at their best, they can definitely take a game off Panthera.
Well, they don't need to do it 10 games in a row. They've only got to do it at least 1 or maybe even 2 games. And those 2 games will be up next. Panthera versus Dignitas. After this very short break, we'll be back with that action.